Hello and welcome to episode 180, apparently, of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I hope so, because that's the name of the Twitch stream. I'm Darby Helmet.
I'm Jeff, man.
Jeff,
Darby?
Are you ready for the loosest, most, undefined podcast of your whole life?
Always.
We have a grand total of one news story this week. And it's not even one of those but it's a big one. It's like,
Yeah.
it's mildly big.
Yeah.
Other than that, who freaking knows? We have a few things planned, but you know what? We're just gonna chill. We're just gonna let our hair down, loosey-goosey, just have a good time because there's not really a whole lot of video game news. But you know what? You're gonna have a good time listening to this. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna learn a lot, but you're gonna have a good time.
You will actually lose brain cells.
You will lose brain cells. I mean, that is a Nerd at Large guarantee.
Yes.
But you'll have a good time while doing it. I'm excited.
Indeed.
Also, I have to say at the top of this episode, because the last episode before it's really happening, I think, right? Anime Gauntlet. It's happening. We are watching a bunch of horrible anime and maybe some good anime and talking about it every week with Alex Boone. That's going to be going up on Nerds at Large. YouTube.com/Nerds at Large. I'm excited.
Yep. Starts next week, or at least when we record.
Hell yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Shows are starting coming out. Yeah, we've each watched one or two.
Yes. You can go to Nerds at Large Twitter feed and scroll down a little bit, and you can see what all of our shows are. There have been some changes, but
yeah,
because some shows are not coming out, and some shows we just swapped because we can. Yeah.
Yes. I had to make a change, and then I decided to change my change because the option was available, and this one looks better.
Yes. Very fair. But that's going to be a very good time. It's going to be something different for us. It's kind of cool to do something that's not video game related.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun.
Forcing Darby to watch double the amount of anime he's had in his life.
It's going to take some effort. It's going to take the most effort of anything we've had to do on this channel. That
first week of our of the main 10 shows is not going to be fun.
I might start to regret it. You're right. Yes. Yeah.
Honestly, Darby, I recommend, at least for the shows you feel are confident after you watch your first episode of each one, you think will probably make the final list. Watch the episodes as they come out to at least take some off.
Yeah, that's my plan, is to be kind of clinical about this and plan my, okay, I'm going to watch this here, watch this here.
That's why I have no qualms about watching Jordan because that one may or may not make the list, but also I do want to watch it because I have watched the first episode and it's like, okay, I want to know more before going into this and see where the show actually lies.
Yeah.
In comparison to other ones.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. And we're going to be killing off anime. There's going to be some drama, for sure.
Drama.
Yeah. But we're here to talk about video games, I guess. So let's do that. And let's kick this off with our Character Hall of Fame, which is something we do every now and then when we introduce video game characters to our personal Character Hall of Fame. And we are framing our Hall of Fame as if it was a hypothetical Super Smash Bros. Game.
Yes.
I think it was called Nerds at Super Smashing All-Star Bros. Or something.
Yeah.
That we, some shit like that. You're probably seeing it.
There's some character select screen thing you made.
I did. And you might be seeing it on the screen right now. You probably are. Blah, 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 blah. So we're going to add one each to it. Jeff, who would you like to go first?
You.
Okay, well, here I go. My inductee to Nerds at Large Character Hall of Fame is Balthier from Final Fantasy XII.
Darby, this goes perfectly with my introduction for my character. Actually perfect.
Ooh, I don't even know what that means, but I am interested to see what that means. But yes, I think you can see him back here, maybe. He's somewhere. He's right there. There he is.
So, Darby, I think it's safe to I'm all for that pick. I made that clear. I didn't finish Final Fantasy 12. I played a lot of it. Yeah. I want to go back to it at some point. Play Zodiac Age.
It's super.
But I think at this point we might be done with Final Fantasy characters. we have three in there right now.
You can tell we care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we probably. I mean, I don't know. Final Fantasy has a lot of characters I love, but I think I have picked some of the, whatever. And I'm trying. I don't want to pick all Final Fantasy 7 and all that stuff, but legitimately, I think both. Like, I love all the characters in 12 aside from Vaughn. But everyone else is great.
Vaughn's a character.
Exactly. But Balthier, he's Final Fantasy 007. I mean, it's just he's great. He's like Sky Pirate, like especially as a kid, because I was young enough to still be like pretty young when I was playing that. I remember thinking he was just so damn cool.
Yeah, well, I don't think a more accurate thing, because 12 is a lot like Star Wars, is he is the Han Solo of the
yeah. What? He is kind of a mixture between like Han Solo and like
and I think that's a good pick for 12 that most people would agree with if you're going to add there, because I remember when Dissidia, which we'll be talking about later for one of our topics, was announced, people were kind of like bummed it was Vaughn and not Ash or Balthier, like at least one of those two.
Or even Bosch, any of them. But Vaughn is objectively the worst character in that whole thing.
Yeah, but he's the quote-unquote main character.
Even though he's kind of not, but it's a whole other conversation. But yeah, and I always thought Balthier and Fran was just like such a cool duo, like riding around like Sky Pirates. I mean, you just can't get cooler than that. It just like the way, like, some of the voice acting in that game is kind of hit or miss, but his is fantastic. Like, whoever they casted for him was just great. And he's one of those that, like, yeah, he's the suave, like, Sky Pirate man or whatever, but, like, he is a pretty important part to the story, and he has some moments that you wouldn't expect. Like, he has some, like, moments where, like, he kind of breaks the veneer or whatever, and, like, there's some really cool stuff in there. He's one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of moveset, Darby? I know.
Yeah, I did not really think of moveset stuff at all.
Well, so I think because 12 is one where you can kind of make people do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
I know, I'm trying to remember because it's been so long since I played. You're a little more recent on it. Doesn't he have like kind of like a starter thing?
His default was guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I think, kind of like maybe a Byleth situation in Smash, where his main focus might be guns, more his moves are, but then you get some of the other weapons in there. Maybe more to signify like Fran's like signature weapon, or Vaughn's or Ash's, or
if she came in there with she was bows, she was bow, he was gun, so I guess it's both range.
Or actually, yeah, I kind of like that as well. It's kind of like a dual thing where he summons Fran to do some stuff since they were partners in crime.
Especially if she came on the like speeder bike thing that they rode. If she like came in there and did something, I don't know, for the ult or either for the smash attack, the smash ball thing, or something else, that could be cool. But for the smash, I would like that. I think 12 summons are some of the coolest designs for some of the summons, and they have like really cool animations. They do the animations too much, but they are cool. And I don't know, I think they were called espers in that one. They're really cool.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, very poorly defined here, but something with like the guns and Fran coming in with a speeder bike would be really cool, and just doing something like that. And just if we would just wanted to represent 12 in general, I think 12 is the Final Fantasy out of all the Final Fantasies. Honestly, out of all the turn-based games I've ever played, or like strategy games like this, status effects matter a lot. Like, I don't know if there'd be something you could like put poison on people or some shit. There's lots of. You can program his moveset. You can do gambits.
Okay. So I don't think it's right. This may not be exactly how it works, but to do that, his like down special is him changing bullet types, and the bullets do status effects.
That could be cool
with different properties and stuff.
That could be cool.
Like poison may not do much damage, but it does damage over time. That kind of thing for a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. Well, cool.
Right.
We got Space 007 and Han Solo in there. Hell yeah, man.
Okay, Darby. Time for mine. You set up my introduction perfectly. Darby, what is something all these characters have in common? They're characters we love.
Final Fantasy.
Yes. Exactly. These posters on this wall, they represent games and characters we love.
Yes.
And if you notice, every single poster besides Adventure Zone, that's not a video game, is represented in our list, except one.
Oh boy.
And that is Life is Strange.
Have we completed all of it now?
Smash is a weird one, but all the other game-specific ones, yes.
That is hilarious.
That's why I was going. I was like, okay, I was going to do a little thing like, except for but we have other Final Fantasies, but you set it up perfectly.
Oh my god, that's great. I have no clue. And I was not even looking at this. Like, I don't think at any point we've gone like, "Ooh, we should do that one." It's just
no. Yeah,
you can. That tells you that we care about these games.
Yeah,
the games that we put back there, we obviously give a shit about.
Max Caulfield from Life is Strange.
Nice.
It was coming.
Yeah.
One of us was going to bring it.
Oh,
That's why I wanted you to go first. Rage was like, that's when I figured to bring. But even though you said that, I was like, okay, just in case.
She was definitely on my list of possibilities.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, she's been on my list, since we did this, a short list for our added characters. So it's time. And I was thinking about, honestly, you know how I made you choose last time what my second character was going to be?
Yeah.
She was the other one that was not Monokuma. So I was partly doing it like, okay, Life is Strange, News Life is Strange game was announced. Yeah. Time.
I'm happy that I got to choose Monokuma, though. I'm happy that I got that moment.
Yeah. So obviously, me and you love Life is Strange. It's just a nice, joyful tale, or like, I don't know, it kind of encapsulates being a teenager in a way, in a weird way. Like, it's cringy in some ways, but that's kind of the point of it. Like, it fits in that way. And having Max as an awkward teenager who stumbled upon this mystery and these abilities and stuff, just, I don't know, it was a love her character. And I'm honestly excited to revisit the original Life is Strange when those remasters come out with all the new stuff. Because it's been a while, so, and like some of the stuff that are different, it's like, okay, I do want to do things a little differently and see how those exactly go.
Yeah. There's definitely a writing style to how they wrote the whole game, but her specifically and everything, that like really did kind of like it captured a vibe in a like part of my life that I don't think is captured in many other things in the same way. And like, I think some of it is like it's very corny writing, but like you said, I think that it's intentional. Even if it's not intentional, it's effective because it's like, yep, I remember this.
I was honestly like stuck between picking her or Chloe. But
I was about to say like, I would be stuck. I would be like torn between those two.
Yeah, but I gave Max the edge partly because of the moveset thing. Weird thing, but Chloe will be incorporated in the moveset. Come on.
Yeah, of course.
But as far as her moveset, it's hard. This is one of those times where I just have a vague outline thing for it. Mm-hmm. You know, she takes pictures. She can take pictures and stun people a little bit, do dumb shit like that. Yes. And she can completely fuck up things by actually rewinding time.
Yep, that's where you get crazy.
Yep.
You fall off the edge and you're like, nope.
And I'm sure there's going to be like some kind of meter to it or whatever.
Yeah,
or
limited use for sure, yeah.
Also, if I remember right, there were some times where she kind of abused it and it was kind of harmful to her. If you use it too much in a stock, you start...
Or when you use it, you gain percentage.
Yeah.
So you can use it to like save yourself, but your percent.
Yeah, I say that the way it works, it uses it like, yes, it does, like it's harmful the whole time, but it's like very minimal, like 0.1% to start out with. But as you use it more and more, it doubles.
Right. So you can like unlaunch yourself, but if you get hit again, you're dead. It's like, so it's like a very situational. Yeah. I think that would be a pretty cool mechanic.
Yeah.
People would hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Pro Play Max is banned from tournaments.
Yep.
That's awesome. Very good pick.
Thank you.
Now, the Balthier Max rivalry is a little interesting. That's an unlikely rivalry.
Okay. This is what starts their struggle. Balthier somehow learns of Max's ability because, of course, he does.
Yeah.
And he wants to use it for crime. He wants to use it for his own gains. And Max's like, fuck you. No. Chloe's there and telling him to fuck off.
Yeah, that's right.
No, Chloe and Balthier would have been awesome.
That butting of heads would be pretty dope. But you still get that Chloe is going to be there to protect.
Of course.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like what some of her side specials with Chloe going at someone with a bat.
Of course. Well, here you can probably see I'm probably putting up the full list. I think we got quite a nice list of games.
I'm curious to look in the list again. I think it's I kind of like it. Feels like I don't know what percentage it is. We have a pretty high percentage of women, and I like that.
Yeah, I think I didn't even mean to, but I think I looked and I picked like 6 in a row.
I think some of my last couple picks have been heavily leaned towards women too.
Yeah, which there are plenty of awesome women in the podcast as well.
Yes,
it is legitimately a game that I love that entire cast. But yeah, but Bothier gets that nudge.
Yep.
Cool shit. Well, Jeff, we got some video games to talk about.
Video games?
We do. We played a lot of Monster Hunter Rise.
We did.
In, might I add, the best setup. Like, one of the best setups I've ever played games in.
Yeah. We went to our friends Alex and Olivia's house, and they actually, we were planning on going in anyway, because, like, okay, we got our Switch there. We can just play in handheld or do something. But maybe we can take advantage of it with other games. They actually had a setup in, I guess, their games room / office where they had their 2 monitors and then 2 TVs on the other side of the room. So we will just all 4 of us sit in a room together and play Monster Hunter.
It was fantastic.
Yep.
It was like, that's like the dream nerdy scenario. We had pizza.
We did.
Took a pizza break. It was heavenly. It was great.
Yep, indeed.
And
flew by.
It did fly by. Like, yeah, next thing you know, it was like, oh, it's like midnight.
No, like, yeah, legitimately, it's like we got back, I think, around like 6ish or something from the pizza place, 6:30, then started playing again, and next thing we knew, it is like, oh yeah, it's 11.
Oh, whoa, shit. And I am having a very, very good time. Like, I enjoyed World, but I think I'm enjoying this one more. I mean, it's not like it's aggressively better, but
yeah, I've honestly had that same feeling. I'm like,
yeah.
I can't point to an exact reason why. Because like you said, like there are some differences and stuff, and there's some, like, I would say, quality of life things that are at least better for us, but they're not like so great that it's like it should make a difference.
No, yeah, I don't know what it is. And like the environments are less, they're smaller and less detailed or something than the other one. But I don't know, something about it is just, maybe it's just the right time, or maybe
just kind of, and maybe it's just kind of, even though they're small things kind of add up, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's a little of that, and it was kind of nice, even though I still don't feel like I completely understand the game. But it was like after playing World, I was able to walk into this game, and like some of the learning curve was not as harsh this time.
Yeah, here's some of the stuff that's across all Monster Hunter. Because I played a Monster Hunter before World on the PSP, I believe, but that was forever ago. So, but yeah, I was kind of going here. I was like, okay, yeah, remember some of the stuff. Now let's dive a little deeper into some of the mechanics for some of these. I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting this stuff more now.
Now I'm starting to do some of the like wire bug abilities and like doing stringing different things.
Yeah, I feel like all of us at some point there kind of realized what our wire bug stuff did. It's like, oh, this stuff is just really effective.
Yeah, there was definitely Monster Hunter was one of those games. If you're like me and you skip all the tutorials because can't be bothered with all that bullshit. But you learn some things. It's like, oh shit, I didn't know I could do this.
Yeah, and for anyone who hasn't found it yet, I definitely recommend finding the weapon moveset list. Yeah. Try to find that, because it can be pretty detailed with all the like. I started using the hunting horn when we were playing, and it went into pretty big detail about all the abilities of it and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I really like this weapon.
Yeah. Like that's actually a pretty good way of telling you things. All the like constant dialogue boxes 24/7 is not necessary. Yeah, Monster Hunter has a like onboarding problem as far as it's just too much. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I also think I don't know if it is, but I feel like just the progression is going a lot faster in Rise.
Yeah,
I feel like in World it would just be like we would fight a monster and I would get like one piece for one part of the armor and be like, cool, we spent 40 minutes for a glove. Mm-hmm. It's like this one I feel like I'm getting more, like
and that might be part of at least part of the argument or thing I've seen from people saying this is easier. I think it's partly easier in general, but I can see that being an additional thing for some of the Monster Hunter veterans.
Yeah, I do think it feels easier. I don't know if that's just because we're better at the game now than we were then.
I think it's partly that, but I do think this is just easier. Like we had a little trouble, but then we upgraded our armor, and then we've been doing pretty well. Like we've had like an odd knockout here or there, which is when we were getting like when one of us happened to get careless.
Right. But we really haven't come that close to like getting killed. But when we did go up to the second star one, there was definitely like the monsters were doing more things. It wasn't like completely devoid of challenge. You know, there was, and I think Monster Hunter has some pretty unique enemy AI. They'll do some movements that I'm just not used to seeing in games.
Yeah, kind of like it. Like some of them, man, just not that good. Probably partly that is they kind of feel like wild animals because I know there was some like you even mentioned during some of them. It's like you expect them to move this way or whatever, then suddenly they're just moving around at a rapid pace, and it's kind of hard to keep up or not expect like that. I can't. I don't know the names for most of these creatures, but yeah, the roly-poly one, the last one we fought, like it would move to the side just out of nowhere. It's like we had no, I didn't see any way we could necessarily see that coming.
It didn't really give you a tell going face this way. They just go whoop.
Yeah,
and even simple things where it's like you get used to he charges and then he stops or whatever, and you get used to that. But he'll charge, stop, turn, charge. It's like oh god, no. Yeah. It's like. And I like a lot of these monsters when they start getting tired or like towards the end of the fight, they just kind of start going willy-nilly all over the place, which is cool. And some of the things I've heard about the future monsters we haven't gotten to, it sounds like it just keeps getting unique like that, which they definitely do monster AI in a cool way. And yeah, it's just fun. It's like I think it's kind of at least to me, it's I wouldn't say junk food, but it's like somewhat of a like it's a game that I like to like I'll play with y'all and it's like a really fun weekend or whatever, but it's not really a game that I feel personally I need to like invest everything into and go crazy on. And that is perfectly fine. It's like a very fun multiplayer game to go through incrementally with the party. But I think it also has plenty, obviously a lot of people play it single player, so yeah, that's fine. Yes. And I did hear from my a guy from work. I don't think. Apparently, you just don't have to do the single player at all.
I kind of got that feeling.
Yeah. Apparently, you get a special weapon at the end. Of
the reason I thought that is all like once we got through the main, I guess the main hunt for Hunter Rank 1, we all got to Hunter Rank 2.
Yeah.
And I've noticed because I can see your screen right next to me, you didn't finish the one for single player. So I thought maybe you had to do both, but seeing your thing, like, oh no, Hunter Rank's not tied to that whatsoever.
So that's good. That's
kind of, I guess, a bonus thing to do. Maybe it's what's the word I'm working for? Balance more for like a single player or something. I don't know.
People say it kind of seems like it's meant to like introduce you to the game or something. So it might be something that if you go back to once you've done all the multiplayer stuff, it might just feel like, all right, well, this is just pointless.
Well, especially like if you don't do it for a little bit, then it's like, well, even the material you get from these monsters, like you're already got much stronger armor.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm going to be super jazzed about going and collecting a bunch of mushrooms, on my own. So, like, who knows? I might just ignore that.
Yeah, I might mess them around with it some. It's nothing I'm going to be, like, beholden to. But there's sometimes, like, when I'm just in my room, like, maybe watching a stream or something, I just count one of those mindless, grindy games, which is partly why I want to start our Nuzlocke, because it's just something about grinding when Pokemon while doing that stuff. It's just, I don't know. I feel at peace.
Well, look forward to that, too. Pokemon Black Nuzlocke.
Probably right after we get done with It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Which are we talking about? Or about talking now?
Speaking of It Takes Two, what a damn game. What?
Bruh, I legitimately think this could be a Game of the Year contender. It'll be up there. Like, I'll be surprised if it's not in the top 5 for me at this point.
Yeah, right now it's just making sure.
At the very least.
Is my audio picking up? Yeah, I think it is. Okay.
Is mine? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're a little louder than me. I can listen and just make sure. Introduce to It Takes Two, Jeff.
Well, if you don't know, It Takes Two, co-op game, Joseph Fares, fuck the Oscars, you know that guy. Yeah, he made another game after A Way Out, and it is a lot better than I expected it to be. I feel like I was more optimistic about it than most people, too. So, yeah. There game's wild. like we're streaming it, so take a browse through that to see some very fun moments.
Hey. All right, there we go. Yeah,
Like, I want to talk about it here, but I also don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it yet.
yeah, it's a hard thing. We gotta talk kind of vaguely, but just I mean, I have been really, really impressed that like every single section of the of the game we've gone to has just seemed like a completely different concept, both from gameplay to just the world. Like, I feel like we'll go into an area and we're like, okay, I see what they're gonna do, and then it's like, whoop, like the jake the steering wheel to the left, and you just go somewhere else.
In the beginning, it was more grounded, but as we're going further, it's like, oh no, this is just like, they're not even explaining why it's all this crazy shit. It's just there, and it's better for it.
Oh yeah, a lot of the game makes no goddamn sense, but like that is perfectly fine. It is like, I can tell. You could just tell they were having fun making this game.
we were saying throughout the stream, like, oh, they didn't say no to any ideas. Any idea someone had, they just fit it in here somehow.
Yep,
And the game is better for it.
absolutely.
Because it's so wild to me, like, yeah, just from the settings, and then the settings having different gameplay styles, that even within one setting, you get multiple gameplay styles, and none of them ever get old. They're there just long enough to like, this is really good, and they're gone before they can feel old, and just how good they all feel. Like you would expect with all these styles, at least some of them, like, this just doesn't feel fun.
Yeah.
All of them so far, in my opinion, like, these are really well done.
It's absurdly polished.
Yeah.
Like, they found the fun factor. They found a bunch of little fun factors over and over and over again.
And again, I like Way Out a lot. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. It's wild to me how much of a step up this is.
Yes, I agree.
Every way.
I agree. And the way that they thought about it, I feel like even other, like, co-op games, going out into, hell, even like 3D World or other things, just like extrapolating this out to just co-op games. Usually, like, you might have some mild differences in, like, you're doing something to help the other person, but by and large, it's kind of like the game is designed in a way where it's like anyone can do anything. You can do it with this or whatever. I love how different our abilities are when we go into certain areas. And, like, the tool they give me and the tool they give you, we can't do it without working together, but the jobs we're doing are completely different.
Yeah, like, one example, a recent one, it's in trailers I remember seeing, I think some of it, so I'll mention this. Like, in a more sci-fi looking level, you have little gravity boosts that you can just walk along walls and upside down, and during the same part of the game, I can shrink and grow big.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are completely different things, and we're working together to solve all these puzzles and all that kind of stuff.
And the puzzles have been the exact perfect amount of, like, we have to think a little bit to put our two brains and our two abilities together, but it's never takes that long, but it's always still satisfying.
Yeah, they were like two that took a little long, but after we got them done, I'm like, okay, we probably should have gotten that sooner. It wasn't as...
And in the grand scheme of things, it's never been that long. It's been at max, like, we sat there for like maybe 5 minutes of that last one, and then, like, thinking about it, and then and
then after we got done, it's like, you noticed it, so good on you, but one of us should have noticed that too.
Yep. It's just a great game. And I just can't. There's not a whole lot. I think the story, is like, I think it's pretty basic in a lot of ways.
It's serviceable more.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think the story, the voice acting is very good. I think the story in general is not going to be like on its own this crazy thing you remember, but the world and the environment and the concepts that you're like going through or whatever, I will never forget. Like, they're
that
crazy.
Last confrontation during the tree level. Come on.
I know. Like, it's wild that, like, the beats of the story are not like the crazy most interesting things, but the actual characters and the, like, it's weird. Well, the main story beats aren't the thing, but some of these story beats are like, we've both said, what is going on?
Yep.
It's a very interesting game, and man, it's what a step up, like you said.
I can't remember where it is. There was a great interview with Joseph Fares, like, since this game has come out, where he talking about the whole co-op thing, because now he is kind of the co-op guy.
Yes,
and he feels that these are the kind of games he wants to make, and he pretty much said his mindset with this game is, okay, we come up with a fun idea and then build the level and world around that idea. And it's like, that shows.
You can
it was gameplay first, and then everything else is window dressing.
And that's how you make a good game. Yeah. That's how you make a game that doesn't feel padded, doesn't feel like it's wasting your time, you're not annoyed with or whatever. Because there's way too many games like Assassin's Creed or something like that. It's just like makes a world and it's like, all right, how can we just fit a bunch of shit in this? It's like, this is very obvious. Like, I mean, there's even elements like we keep being like, oh, there are collectibles somewhere else, and there's not. And I'm not saying collectibles are bad. I think they're good in a lot of games, but like, I'm glad this game kind of doesn't have it. I'm glad this game was like, nope, we're just gonna make like keep the pace snappy. We're just go. You know,
the closest thing to equivalent of collectibles are those mini games that we're going head to head.
But those are like still
obviously not collectibles, but something. The equivalent for this game, you would say, like having to go out of your way slightly.
Like this game doesn't need like that pace breaker thing because the game itself changes so often.
Yeah,
it's like it's just a nice tight experience that I think we love, but also I think I could hand to like my sister who doesn't play a ton of games, but I think she would love it. I think a lot of people.
Oh no, I'm glad I got a physical copy. I use hand tool that's like. Hey, your significant other or friend or something. Just play this game.
Yeah. Just play this game. Play the game.
I'm interested to see sale numbers once those come out. I hope it's doing well. Obviously, reception-wise, people who played it is nothing but very positive reviews. Like, legitimately, I think this game's going to be like on a good many like game of the year list.
I think so too. Yeah, I think it puts Joseph Fares and Hazelight or whatever way even more on the map. I think this is the one that cements them as
and again I wanted to sell well, so it's like the game looks gorgeous as well, so there's gotta be some budget behind it for sure. So hopefully like EA or however that thing works, their agreement or something, because Hazelight I don't think is owned by EA, so like EA just gives them here's a little more money.
I hope so. I hope it does get that commercial success, so it's like there can be no denying. It's like you just let this man and this team work.
Yep.
It's good shit.
Indeed.
So twitch.tv/NerdsAtLargeGaming. See part 3 whenever we get to stream that, and you can see the first 2 parts.
This week, I assume.
First 2 parts on youtube.com/NerdsAtLarge.
Yep.
Yeehaw.
Okay, Darby, time to get to the news.
News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jangle. I don't know if that was worth the jingle and the jangle.
It should have just been.
With this amount of news, make a jingle.
Just have Max Caulfield rewind time. News jingle.
Jingle.
All right. We did it.
Okay, Darby. So this is there are other news things, but not much I feel like we could get a conversation out of. But something I feel like we can talk about a little bit is, Darby, I'm sure you heard of the game MLB the Show. That series.
Oh, the ball of base.
Yes. The baseball.
Baseball.
PlayStation exclusive, made by a PlayStation Sony studio, whatever. And was announced last year. We talked about it coming to Xbox, which was a big deal.
Yep, to the PlayStation, Sony pony right here.
Yeah.
I definitely care a lot about console wars.
Yeah. But they announced this past week that it is not just going to Xbox, it is going to Xbox Game Pass day 1.
What?
Yeah, so this is crazy for a lot of reasons. Just in general, the fact a game this big is going day 1. We got Outriders recently.
Yeah.
But that was an unproven IP that it looks like it just happens to be big. This is a proven multi-million seller.
Yes. Which, like you said, is crazy on its own, but made exponentially crazier that this is like a Sony published game and it's been a Sony exclusive for so long.
Yes. I wanted to point out that it seems, based on the Xbox website, MLB is publishing it on the Xbox.
Or it's Sony Studio made,
Yeah. The Sony Studio made game, and Sony is publishing it on their platform.
Yeah.
But MLB is publishing it on Xbox. So they might explain the things. Sony may not have had really much anything to do about this deal.
That's the only thing that really makes sense to me, because this is a giant neon flashing sign that says if you have both of these services or you have a PC or something, don't play this on PlayStation, play this on Xbox. It's a giant you can get this for a few bucks a month instead of
So they're paying $70, which it is now.
Yes. Yeah, it's not a good look or whatever. So I cannot imagine that Sony this was Sony.
Yeah, I mean, immediately when seeing this, like, obviously there are people who have Xbox with Game Pass who are like, fuck yeah! And then there was some PlayStation people, not necessarily fanboys, that were kind of like, okay, so PlayStation, this is on Xbox Game Pass, why isn't this a PlayStation Plus game?
Yeah.
Because Oddworld was the PlayStation 5 game for the new game for the moment, which, you know, I think that's a nice game for the size.
It's niche, yeah. But it's cool.
But their own big game is going to be on a
competitors.
Yes, again, the MLB thing, but from a visual standpoint to the consumer who may not be as much in the know.
Yeah.
People know that this is a Sony developed thing. It's going on the competition.
Yeah, a Sony-owned studio is making Xbox Game Pass Day One thing. It's wild how like we're just at a weird point in the gaming industry where Xbox is technically publishing 2 Sony exclusives this year, and now Sony is making an Xbox Game Pass Day One game. It's in a weird time where it's like I think it also kind of shows the business of this is getting a little bigger than them. You know, it's something where like MLB probably as an organization realizes like, hey, we don't have to just like we own this. We don't have to like put ourselves in this one little corner just because of PlayStation. We can be like, no, we're gonna open this shit up, and you're not gonna stop us. Which I think you're just seeing more of that, like just because these things have been rules, even like crossplay and other things like that, like. Just because these have been rules doesn't mean it has to stay rules. And it's like, yeah. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So from outside the whole PlayStation thing, the fact that MLB the Show is on Game Pass Day One is crazy because I feel like it's not talked about partly as much because it is PlayStation exclusive and people around, you know, we don't hear about sports very much anyway. But people who may not know, this is the baseball equivalent of Madden and FIFA is to football and soccer, respectively, pretty much.
Yeah.
This is the premier baseball, Major League Baseball game.
I don't know if any
It's going to be on there Day One. Also, the fact is,
I'm going to get water real quick.
Day One, because of the EA deal, Game Pass people pretty much get all of the big sports games on that service. So if you like sports games, I mean, Game Pass is the place to play. Yes, I am.
There's getting to be more and more things like that are like this whole genre, the series or something. Like the whole thing is on Game Pass. Hell, even Yakuza. I think the entire series of Yakuza is on Game Pass.
All the mainline ones, besides like a Dragon.
Yeah. Oop.
But also as far as like MLB the Show from a personal standpoint, I kind of like this personally because I like baseball. I haven't played a baseball game in years, but I'll download this on my Xbox and give it a shot.
I'll definitely give it a shot. Like I said, I cannot name you one baseball player. Is Albert Pujols still in the league?
Yes.
How? Good God, he's like 70 years old.
I think Joe's retired. I believe he still is.
Wow.
But yeah, I might end up just playing a couple games, but I'll give it a shot. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I'll play with you.
Yeah.
Probably like one night. Like there you go.
So I figured to also add on to this story, let's have a little fun little prediction thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because MLB the Show, as mentioned earlier, Outriders are big Day One games on Game Pass, and they were announced pretty close to launch. As far as being on there, so there could be games coming up pretty soon. That could be Day One on there, and obviously the show Microsoft's like putting the money in, like not just indies and our own stuff. We're getting the biggest.
Yes.
So I figure we go through some games maybe coming up and try to guess maybe if some of these could be on Game Pass Day One. Why not?
All right, you want to get crazy at the beginning?
Sure.
I actually think this will happen, but what if Back 4 Blood was Xbox Game Pass Day One?
That'd be crazy.
Exclusive? I don't think so, but
yeah,
I think it's gonna be too big on its own.
Mm-hmm. MLB the Show as well. I mean,
that's true.
Like, I would agree with you. The Outriders, but MLB the Show kind of throws away like that's big. That's a big proven thing.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true.
I think Back 4 Blood has a chance.
I think it does too.
Let's see. I had one in mind. Deathloop. I mean, legitimately, do you think that might happen?
Yeah, we still haven't. I guess we haven't heard.
Hey,
Moses. Hey, Moses. Yeah. I mean, that's always what is weird because it's obviously still going PlayStation exclusive, so it has that business deal on it. But it's like we don't know that exclude them from doing doing like their own weird thing with PC. Like, that would soften the blow a little bit of them publishing exclusive to their competitors thing. So yeah, I could see that happening, and if that happens, then Ghostwire, which is still supposed to come out this year, right?
Yeah, I believe that's in October.
That will probably be the same way.
Yeah, it was kind of a last minute thrown together things. Now I don't have too many games. Honestly, I think this one might have a chance. Biomutant.
Yeah, it would probably help Biomutant.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. I've seen people get more excited than people being impressed with the gameplay trailers that have actually shown.
We've proven Outriders once again prove that we don't know what we're talking about when we predict games to succeed or fail. I guess we were right about Avengers, but that was everyone else.
Yeah. Avengers added to PlayStation Now for the next couple months.
Has Far Cry 6 done Game Pass? Like, has Ubisoft done Game Pass things or whatever? Could Far Cry 6 be one of those?
I don't think they did. I'm trying to think. I don't know if they've added like big games from the past on Game Pass.
They might not. I think they have their own service that no one uses. Yeah, so probably not. But
Scarlet Nexus.
It could be. You're starting to see more Japanese stuff go there. So I could have them. Yeah. I think we've run out of them super interesting ones.
Yeah, I agree.
But
then thrown together.
There's some good.
Life is Strange True Colors.
Very well could be too.
Square, Outriders.
I mean, in Life is Strange 2 went on there very fast, and it's
true.
Like very fast. Annoyingly fast because we had already bought it.
Yeah. I think it has a comparatively a decent chance.
It's Chris Tales on Game Pass.
It was announced for Game Pass like 2 years ago. I have not heard about it on there since. I wanted to so I can save money. I mean, if it's not, I'm gonna buy it. But
yeah, same.
Okay, I think that's about all we got. I'm not gonna scroll for any more of these ones.
All right,
But it's interesting thing to think about now for maybe some of these big games that aren't exactly like the major players. Like, yeah, maybe they could. Like games we just didn't think of before.
And the more do it, I think the more likely others are to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you have that kind of like, not quite the biggest AAA game, but somewhere in between, I think there's very good chances. And like 12 minutes is going straight to the Game Pass, isn't it?
I think so.
It just feels like it is.
Yeah. It's one of those ones I know they talk about it a lot of their stuff, but I'm not remembering if they've actually officially confirmed it is.
Yeah. I'm just gonna believe until it does.
Until they tell me no.
And that's all the news this week, because nothing happened. But Sony was busy murdering their old games.
Well, we're just ending this on people murdering their games.
I know, executions left and right.
Yeah, so we talked about something last week. Sony announced they're closing the PS3, Vita, and PSP digital stores, and now literally thousands of games will not be available anymore.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the games we're talking about here, but a lot of I feel like this is important to at least mention. A bunch of like indie games are just not going to exist anymore.
Yep. And people brought up, I didn't even think about it at the beginning, but like DLCs for games. Like even if you have a physical copy of some of these games, you'll have no way to buy DLC. Sure. And some of that will just be lost at the time.
Like I got a series, there is a DLC thing that is going to be a shame that it's not going to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Moses. Time to pirate.
Do it.
I mean, if you leave people no legal option, they kind of gotta do what they gotta do. And it's just, I just hate this so much because just from a video game preservation standpoint, like again, this doesn't happen to anywhere near the same degree with like movies and books and some of these other things. I feel like there's just a lot more effort for you to be able to go back and watch old things and see how film and everything evolved up here. Games, it really just seems like no one cares about like preserving their own history of this. It's just like the mindset for a lot of these companies is, no, we're on new things. Things from that's old shit. No one cares about it. In the grand scheme of things, like, think about it, the PS3 was not that long ago. That was just like, that was when we were kids. We're pretty young. It's like, it's crazy that some of these games might just get lost. And I really have no faith that if it was not popular enough, it's like, they're not gonna go back and remaster these or something if it's not like a big thing.
So it's like, I'm surprised some of it just hasn't been remastered yet, and that's why it will be on this list we're about to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a list of games/series here that we're just gonna go through that are mixture of games we love and games I think of note that are based on what I could tell looking up, or a mixture of PS3, Vita, and PSP exclusive, to where once the store is closed down, you just can't get like new legally anymore. I guess I will note some stuff I left off the list purposely. PS1 classics I decided to leave off, but I don't want to go through all that list. And there's some those games, like, at least like Square ones or popular ones, those are added to like Steam and stuff and that kind of stuff. But I guess we can mention it right here, I did not put in Crisis Core, because that wasn't available digitally anyway, because of some kind of weird licensing thing. I think it's done. So I think that game was only available physically.
So it's probably already really hard to get.
Oh yeah,
and it's not any easier.
That's why I am okay with them. I mean, I wish it wasn't a mobile thing. I'm glad at least here they're doing.
Yeah, you gotta fight through the gacha mechanics to get to your Crisis card. Yeah, so this is kind of like mine and Jeff's personal recommendations for games for you to go consider buying before the shuts down, which is June, right?
I think it's somewhere between June and September, depending on.
Right,
I don't have those dates in front of me. Again, some of these don't necessarily ones we're particularly like have investment in, but I'd say at least big names.
Of note, yeah.
Well, Darby would murder me in my sleep if I didn't mention these.
Sure.
All the Sly Cooper games. I was thinking the collection. These in Time would count as well.
Nope, that was a PS3 game.
And Vita game.
And Vita game, yeah.
So,
both,
that's one of those where, like, it's just gone. You can't get this digitally. You have to try to find it physically.
Yeah, and how shitty is that? Like, this summer, literally, like, a pretty big Sony franchise that was, like, a really big part of my childhood and everything, and literally all the games, there's no way to buy them without finding a physical copy somewhere. Like, that's just, God, that sucks so much. Yes. So yeah, I highly recommend. I mean, those games are, you know how much I love them.
I will this be one I might grab the collection, and I add these of time on Vita thanks to you, because you're a PS3 game here with a Vita code. So I might grab those just to have.
Yeah, I have the physical disc of it, but yeah, it sucks that it's like, yeah, if something happens to that disc, it's like, well, shit, then I can't go buy it digitally after that point. And that's just a really, really big bummer for all of these games, but that one obviously has a special place in my heart.
It's out of order, but I'll mention here because they're related. They're a bunch of Ratchet and Clank games.
Yep.
There are so many Ratchet and Clank games.
I was about to say, which ones are available on PS4? Probably, I can't imagine it's many of them.
2016.
I was about to say, did they port any of those? I didn't think they did. So it's literally, it's the entire Ratchet and Clank.
Like half a dozen of them on PS3.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Stuff in PSP. Like, really over a half a dozen Ratchet games that like will be unavailable.
And the fact that they just have like no alternative for any of this shit. But yes, Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank. Like, I know a lot of people will say, and like, yes, they wouldn't have happened without like Mario 64 and Nintendo stuff for sure. But I think they took those formulas and took them in very like cool, different ways. Like, I mean, Sly, I'm very attached to, but Ratchet and Clank was like a bridge between the Mario 64 3D platformers and shooters. It was kind of a cool middle ground between those. It's like, they're really cool games.
Hey, you know what's wild also? This is supposed to be, the new Ratchet and Clank is supposed to be going back into the Nexus universe. That game's going to be gone about the time this game comes out. The new one comes out.
What a great way to celebrate. Just by killing
it. Heavenly Sword. It's a game that's not remembered completely fondly. Me and you remember fondly more than most. Yes. I'm sure we went back and be like, yeah, this game has a lot of problems. But me and you really like it. We played it.
Certainly not a perfect game, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Naruto was a fun character, and a lot of people were appalled, upset about her inclusion in PlayStation All-Stars. Me and you were like, yeah, let's
Let's
go.
freaking go.
There's our girl.
I don't know, something about this, like, that big old giant ass sword she did. And I think I remember like really, like it's one of the few times I actually really liked like a parry mechanic and stuff in a game. Like I think the fighting, I'm not like I'm very picky about like action games, but I think that one was a pretty fun one.
Honestly, that's one like Naruto's design of the world and everything is just so good. I mean, if not basic, that you can barely really add to. Like, is it really a bummer they don't like reboot it at the very least? Definitely make it the exact same game.
Yeah.
Do your open world, maybe not open world, kind of more. I don't know. Do something with it. That world and characters have so much potential that I feel like it's being wasted.
Yeah.
More than some of the other characters.
And there was some like surprisingly funny moments that had like a kind of it was just a cool tone. Yeah.
Probably the name point to that series in particular because it kind of goes in line with what Sony's current direction. I mean, Naruto and stuff fit in that with their current cast of characters or the human stuff.
But this is one of those games I can promise you is going to stay dead. It's gonna stay buried in PS. Like some of these other games might still come back, or get ported over. This one's gone. Nothing, which is a bummer.
The biggest bummer, maybe to me on this list, at least one of them, the Infamous series.
Yeah,
obviously not Second Son and the
spin-off
thing, but 1 and 2 somehow did not get PS4 ports.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was hinting at. Like some of these games might still get ports. I could still see this happening, but it does kind of feel like it would have happened by now.
Yeah, I don't know what it wasn't really this. A couple weeks back, I watched some cutscenes from Tier. I'm like, man, that game was just so good. Like the story was fun and everything, and just what they were doing, the characters.
Yeah.
As far as the early 2010s or whatever, I still hold this like one of some of the best games, Infamous 2. And the thing that sucks is I hinted at it. An Infamous game DLC thing that will be completely gone is Festival of Blood.
Yeah,
the
DLC
spin-off thing where Colt becomes a vampire.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Cheesy and stuff, but I had a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
So that just really sucks. Like I want them to port these games.
And that was a big deal franchise for the PS3 that just kind of seems like it's just
to be honest,
gonna fade away.
Straight up. Infamous, the reason I got a PS3. That was
I can see that. Yeah.
That and I guess All Stars, I think was the time it was kind of close to that too.
Especially for its moment, it was pretty much like the coolest superhero games ever made. Like we had a lot of bad ones. It's like
yeah.
It was a completely new thing. And
as far as the superhero games, Infamous 2 is still one of my favorites.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yes, and that's it's just like it just sucks that it feels like really old games get preserved and like we get brought back in a lot, and like new games are promoted a lot, but it's like that era is just that middle ground era.
It doesn't break a certain threshold.
Yeah,
I'm very crazy.
It has to be like super popular, or it's like, oh, no one cares about that. It's like, or it's like if someone is just interested in the legacy. If someone played Ghost of Tsushima and they want to know what Sucker Punch did before he did that, or they play Insomniac games, they want to know what they did before that. It's like,
there has to be a real bummer. Like as far as easily available, there are only going to be 2 Sucker Punch games that are going to be easily available after this.
How shitty is that?
Yeah,
so stupid.
Yeah,
dumb.
As a big Sucker Punch fan, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, but up to that point, it's like, this sucks.
And probably bigger than any of the other games that we've mentioned, just not for us.
Gear Solid 4 is still stuck on the PS3. How?
How indeed?
With everything under the sun usually getting ports, like Infamous should have gotten a port, but Metal Gear Solid 4
is way bigger.
Yeah.
It's like, again, this type of shit doesn't happen in movies. If there's some like big movie franchise, it's not like, I hear everyone say Alien is really good, but I can't go watch it because it's lost to time. It's like, no, you go on Amazon Prime and you watch Alien. It's like, with this, it's like Metal Gear. There's probably a lot of younger people that like, they know of Metal Gear, but they're like, I'm going to go check out Metal Gear. How can I do that? I have to get a PS3.
I might be wrong about this. I feel like a lot of the Metal Gear games, like the solid games, are on the PS4 available in some way. I think like 4 is a strangely
That's weird.
not.
It's very strange. Very weird. Yes. Konami just has no interest. They need to just sell that IP already.
Yeah, sell the Sony or something. I don't know. They'll treat it well. So sell the Nintendo.
Both of the Little Big Planets.
Yep, and Little Big Planet Vita. I don't know how they're for that, but I saw that.
I didn't know it was a separate game.
I don't know how separate it is. I just had a different title.
Yeah, gotcha. Which, I mean, that's also a really big bummer because that, like, yeah, you talk about what was a big deal for Sony. I mean, that was like Sackboy was the mascot of Sony for a while.
I feel like for Little Big Planet fans as well, 2 in particular is a much bigger deal than 3 is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like, especially, I think I might be wrong, like the creation stuff, and that was just better.
That's what I remember too.
So that being also gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really, really big bummer for that too. I mean, I don't care. I didn't play Little Big Planet as much, but no. For us,
a big PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
It's a good game, damn it.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing that does suck, Darby, as well. Like even like what you said earlier about the DLC, which I kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
Is people somehow were able to find a copy of the game. They're gonna get Cat.
Yeah, they can't. Right, they can't get multiple characters. Yeah. No, that's true.
and then as well, and Zeus. I mean, Zeus should have been the game, but those are 4 of the most fun characters.
Yeah, they're at least very fun.
Really
Yeah,
fun
absolutely. And that sucks. So, yeah, it's just. If you're in the Smash Bros. And you're into a lot of these Sony characters, you should go play that game. It's a lot of fun. It did not have the resources that it should have, and it's not a Smash clone, and that's a good thing.
Sorry, Smash clone, but not a Smash.
You criticize it for both things. So it makes sense.
Puppeteer.
I don't even really remember this one, to be honest.
This is a platformer. I'm trying to remember. I think it was like a 2D one. People who I trust, like Mr. Bradley Ellis, sing the praises of Puppeteer as one of the greats, especially around the time for platformers. I have not played this game. I might have it on PlayStation Plus. This is honestly one of those games, if I don't have it, I'll probably grab, because everything I've seen is like, this should be a game I love.
Yeah.
It needs to be a wacky, crazy platformer, and I love that shit. It just sold very poorly.
Yeah.
But I think the Puppeteer did get a call out in Astro's Playroom, did it? Maybe.
That sounds right.
I think there were some scissors in there.
Yeah, I think I remember us looking up something. Okay, yeah.
I remember looking up. Rain. This is more of a me thing. This is like the one kind of indie-ish game I probably have on here.
Okay, I don't think I know this one either.
I really liked Rain. It was like this kind of weird, more atmospheric kind of like adventure kind of game. You're like a kid who's invisible except when he's in the rain and stuff. Or when I can't remember.
I don't think I've ever heard this.
It was early college when I played this game, so it's been a while. But I remember that I really liked it. I'm looking forward to it and playing and just really enjoying it. And this is one of those games that are just completely gone.
Yeah.
You can't even find a copy because it's digital.
Yeah. Damn.
Big ones for us, Darby.
Absolutely.
Tell Zillia 1 and 2 are boys and girls over there.
Absolutely.
Our beautiful anime boys and girls.
The best of the series, but I've not played most of the series.
So yeah, this one's also a bummer because I'm surprised. I don't know, kind of surprised it's wasn't ported or ported the PC at the very least.
It's
right now it's
just not big enough because the new Tales games are on there. I mean, I don't even know are any of the old ones besides Vesperia on?
I think Symphonia might be.
Okay, but you have to be really big or whatever Tales game. I just don't think that they're not going to put the time to go back and if they went back that we're re-releasing Zillia on Steam, it would be like me and you and like 3 other people would be like, yeah, and then like no one else would care at all. So they're just not gonna go to the effort to do it. So I really do. I'm very glad I have a physical copy of both games in there, and I bought that earlier this year, not even knowing that the store was going dead. But like now I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I did. because those games hold a very special place to me too. And again, that's the bummer thing about this is I have zero confidence that these games are going to be lifted out of the grave. It's like that's just gonna be it, and it's so depressing.
Yep. One more game that actually, or at least one of the last ones that are close to at least one of us.
Yeah.
Some other,
we can just read off the other ones. Yeah.
Dissidia games.
Yeah.
Besides the new shit game.
The good ones. The good ones.
PSP and Vita. Yeah. These games will also be gone.
Just be dead, yeah.
Yeah. You have to find the card. I'm trying to remember. Like it would be a PSP card, I remember. I think the game I played, it was like a weird it was like a sequel thing that I mainly played, but I think it was digitally, like it was a PSP game that I played on Vita digitally.
There you go.
So if you want to get this game from here on out, it has to be physically a physical PSP.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
Just impossible to get your hands on.
And there's like a digital only prologue demo thing that I think had its own original story. I think the only way to unlock Aerith as an assist would be gone forever.
Gosh.
So yeah, bummer. Or it might be. I'm trying to remember. Like it's a Final Fantasy spin-off game, so the names are weird and the words are made up. So I told, like, it might be the whole prequel thing, maybe that's digital only, where you literally the only way in the story you play is Lightning, Tifa, Vaughn, Laguna, Yuna.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That game is great. You gotta Vita play it. I mean, for real, it's a weird spin-off fighting game thing. It's like an arena fighter thing, but it's actually an actual good one.
Yeah. I just don't like that type of game, but I respect that. Definitely better than what it became.
Yep. Okay. Some other games I'll read off. Fat Princess.
Yep.
Because that is digital only. God of War Collection, including 1 and 2. 3 and stuff got ported to the PS4, so I think so. Those would still be there, and I think Ascension and maybe some stuff, but the original God of War 1 and 2 gotta find a digital copy for it.
They're one of their biggest franchises. This makes no sense.
Most Killzone games except for the PS4.
Shadowfall.
Yeah, Shadowfall.
Yeah, but 1, 2, 3.
Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Never actually played it, but apparently
I played a little of it. Me.
But you never played any of the other Uncharted.
I played most of
it.
I think I'm close to the end.
It's the worst one. You can just go play it too.
Plus Chloe's in that game, so you know. Wipeout 2048.
Yeah.
People have seen the praises.
So I just gotta very, very quickly just say what the whole list is, just so this is our recommendation for PS3, PSP, PS Vita games to go run out and buy. The Sly Cooper Collection, Heavenly Sword, the Infamous Collection, Metal Gear Solid 4, Little Big Planet 1 and 2, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, Puppeteer, Rain, all them Ratchet and Clank games, Tales of Xillia 1 and 2, Dissidia, Fat Princess, God of War Collection, so God of War 1 and 2, Killzone 1 through 3, Uncharted Golden Abyss, and Wipeout 2048. There are many, many others. Those are the ones that we're highlighting. R.I.P. R.I.P. to like a whole generation of games. They're just going to be lost to time, even though they're not that freaking old, because video games are annoying. Cool shit.
Well, Darby, you know what else? R.I.P.
The plumber, we finally got him.
Mario's fucking dead.
We got him. He's
finally, after all the years.
He's been, he's gotten away too long.
Yeah, all his transgressions.
Time we brought him to justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. It just didn't need to happen, did it?
No. If for some reason anyone listens to this doesn't know the meaning, the Mario 3D All-Stars collection got taken off sale after like 6 months, March 31st. So naturally the internet took to the extreme of saying Mario was executed.
Yeah, he was. That was the end of the plumber. He's dead. Do you think it's just coming back in any way, or do you think that's just how they're handling this shit?
I would like to say I'd be shocked if they didn't sell these piecemeal at some point, but it is Nintendo.
It is Nintendo.
So I have no fucking idea.
I respect that response. Okay, I think that is the true response. That is the honest response.
Yeah. That was the discussion. You know, it's Mario's, wait, what was it, 35? Yeah, 35th
35, yes,
anniversary.
35.
So it's like, let's talk about Mario.
Let's talk about Mario. Yeah, we actually we talked about Loosey Goosey at the top of the episode, Loosey Goosey podcast. This is the one that we literally have nothing written there. Yeah. Jeff wrote Mario's dead.
It's true.
Which I don't actually think we're going to talk about Mario being dead that much because we kind of talked it to death and there's nothing to say other than it sucks. Nintendo, be better. But yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about just with the release of 3D World, re-release of 3D World and Bowser's Fury mixed with it. I think it's kind of like that package deal is a very interesting encapsulation of Mario as a franchise and just how it's interesting how there are very distinct lanes of Mario. Yeah. Like there is the paths of like there's the open exploration type like Odysseys and 64 and stuff like that. There's the straight like 2D side scrolling things or whatever going all the way to like the new Super Mario Bros. Or whatever. There's like 3D World that kind of is a blend between the two.
Yeah, and even in some ways you can get the galaxies into that general idea, where it is a quote-unquote 3D game, but it is course-based.
Right, yeah. It's the thing that's fascinating to me is that these are pretty different concepts, but he use the exact same abilities and like a lot of the same mechanics, and they just work across these like very different styles, which I just think is like from a game design perspective is a feat, and like it's just very interesting that you love all of these even if you have a preference, but like the fact that it just works, like I don't know,
Yeah, it is wild. Yeah, just with like you're saying, using a lot of the same mechanics and ideas just in a wildly different way, and then obviously playing with them like what they did in Odyssey, where it's like, oh, you can become anything.
Yeah, and it has so much.
Doesn't have a hat. You become it.
Exactly. Do you? I'm interested as a Mario fan, more of a Nintendo fan. Do you have a preference of Mario style?
The Odyssey 64 style is definitely my favorite. It's like kind of open exploration and seeing what you can find to discover ways to get stars or moons or whatever is my overall preferred thing. But
yeah, I think so.
I love it all.
Yeah. Same for me, but I will say 3D World has given me a new respect for that style of Mario.
I'm trying to tell you.
I think in general, usually like if you just tell me like, hey, do you want to play this Mario game, and you describe one of those, it's like, yeah, it's level based. That you just go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Like on paper, that never sounds very appealing to me. Or whatever, but like when you make me sit down and play like 3D World or whatever, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I get I mean, you definitely feel like you're moving at a faster clip and you're like progressing, and you just gotta get that like dopamine hit more in that style.
Yeah, and I think what also works out with the shorter things is its contrast to like Odyssey and stuff. Is each level can be very different from each other. We're suddenly like we're doing this kind of weird ghost house, and then suddenly we're in a level where we got to chase a flagpole,
right?
And we got like a minute.
Yeah, and they have time just like mechanic wise too, where it will like there's some things in 3D World that just like they can really get experimental with the mechanics, whereas Odyssey you're more in a hub environment that can be like unwrapped in any way in order you want, so it kind of has to be able to do things. But I think Odyssey is just the perfect blend, because it's like you go into a warp pipe and you're basically in the 3D World level. It's like you're like in something else. Like Odyssey is a giant playground basically. Right. Odyssey in some ways is like a package combo of all the different. It's just a celebration of Mario basically.
Man, the New York City
it's like, so that's why Odyssey is by far my favorite. Even over like 64 and some of those other ones. Yeah, it's good. But like I told you, it's like maybe like I haven't completely unpacked it yet, but I mean, I think 3D World's up there for me.
Nice.
I think it really is. Like I'm shocked by how much I enjoyed that game.
Good.
It's just a very well made game.
We're gonna hate it when we get the Champions Road.
Oh yeah, it all goes out the window. Every bit of it goes out the window.
It's kind of interesting when all these avenues of Mario, and then like you mentioned with 3D World, it's Bowser's Fury. Where you were mentioning Odyssey kind of being a mix. Bowser's Fury is more of a mix. Like it takes
Sure.
kind of that Odyssey
Sure.
open world-ish, open area idea, but adding a lot more 3D world mechanics in there with the way power-ups work and just general the way the platforming works and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This big thing is like it's really well done, and as we discussed when when I was playing it and everything, like is this them just kind of experimenting? Is this what they're gonna do, or are they gonna do something like this? Like I believe it. I believe they're.
I can see it, yeah.
Like the next 3D Mario is going to be like with this big open thing with all these power ups because they have some unique ideas in Bowser's Fury, which I think definitely between that and 3D World, hammer it home. It's worth the price. Between those games, it might be more questionable if you've already played 3D World to death when it first released, but considering how many Switch owners there are compared to Wii U owners, a lot of people haven't.
A lot of
if you
it.
haven't, buy the damn game.
Yes, at 100%. Yeah, Bowser's Fury is like fascinating because it's literally the exact same power-ups and a lot of the same things from 3D World,
Mechanics and all that.
but in a completely different perspective. It's a you're moving the camera around single player like 3D open world game
Yeah, you got Plessy going around.
using the same thing. Yeah.
And something the more I think about what the game does is very interesting, which I can definitely see them using. Is you have like a bag of power. Like when you get like bonus ones, you can hold up to like 5 or 6 whatever it is of each individual power up that you can just call upon whenever, switch between them or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. And like I just don't think there's many other series that could just like jumble up their mechanics in this way, but it still is just polished and like
And
nice and it's like
no, this is Mario. It's
Right.
different, but it's undoubtedly Mario.
right. And like yeah, that's the thing. Wildly different play styles, but you jump in and you just start doing it and you just know.
Yeah.
Like even if you had only really played the 2D like games and the other things, you just know. It's just Mario. It just makes sense. It's like it really is like the process of them making those games. I mean, like Mario gets all the love in the world, so it's not like it's a underrated thing or anything like that. But like sometimes you do kind of like forget just how well made those games are. They are just like scientifically engineered. I would like really want to know what the process is like, but they have a special something that other games don't. And I mean, even I love it, but now that I play 3D World, like comparing it to Sackboy, I'm like, yeah, Sackboy does seem like it's fun, but it's definitely an imitation that like doesn't really quite get the like just moment to moment fun, no fluff. We're just boom, 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 boom. That Mario just works at such a like pace that's like I don't know. It doesn't play around. It values your time. That's for sure.
But we're still really good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm still like glad. It's still not too many, but more studios and stuff are trying to make 3D platformers. They don't have to be like an imitation of Mario, but kind of taking those ideas and being inspired by it.
Right. And I mean, I feel like that's what I want to just like, I'm like blowing smoke. I'm like really, really applauding Mario because I feel like most of my life I have not really been a big Mario person in the grand scheme of things. I've played a bunch of other PS2 platformers that were.
To be fair, you've been comparing yourself
extension.
to me your whole life as far as Mario fan.
Right. That's true. Like, I guess compared to the average person, but like, I didn't grow up with Nintendo platforms. I grew up with PlayStation. So most of the games that I played first were the games that were inspired by 64 to go other places. And I'm not trying to say that, like, I don't want to say that Mario was like the only thing and everything else sucks, because I do personally, I like that Mario is like the Beatles. And like everyone had like took from that, like no one would exist without the Beatles, but it's like it's interesting to see like how this ripples out and how it goes other places. And I mean, you have things like Sly or Jack and Ratchet that like have that 3D Mario DNA somewhere deep in them, but it was cool to see it go in so many different ways, and then like see it like attached to a cool noir espionage story thing with this and some of the like weird things you do in there, but like it all like I feel like it does all in its DNA go back to some like Mario 64.
Yeah.
Like that is really a branching point for video games. That's very fascinating.
And obviously with all the 3D platformers we're getting and like custom
Yeah.
Metroidvanias and stuff like Super Mario Bros.
Yes.
Something from that.
There's a Mario for everything. Yeah. Well, let's end this off, Jeff, with, I know we've talked about it like somewhat before, but do you think an Odyssey 2 will have kind of more like any bit of a drastic change, in the sense that I think like Galaxy 2 is like surprisingly different from Galaxy 1 in a lot of ways, with it's more of the 3D world style of thing. Do you think Odyssey will like play it straight, or do you think some combination of this experimental with Bowser's Fury? Do you expect Odyssey 2 to have like a distinct thing that makes it like someone could be like, I'm more of a fan of Odyssey 1 because of this. It's just vibes different.
Okay. I got a fun little idea. It's taking something from Bowser's Fury. That could be an interesting, like, little twist to the Odyssey formula.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned in Bowser's Fury how you have a little, like, power-up, I guess, bag or whatever to keep them in. So in Odyssey, Mario himself does like the normal power-ups, Fire Flower and Boomerang. A couple, not too many. But when he captures certain people, he also transforms that. So you have like a Boomerang Goomba.
So he has Pokeballs? He keeps like he has a Pokédex. He has a team of 6. There he goes.
Yeah, so like maybe like a power-up Mario has influences whatever he captures and transforms their properties as well.
Oh yeah, that could be very cool. Yeah,
that came off my head. That probably would not work in practice.
Cat's hammer, bro.
Yeah.
I want to go down the Pokemon route. I want there to be another person who has a Cappy, and they are also taking over things. So you're fighting someone else who can take over.
Like it's Peach.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Peach playable?
We play as Peach and Mario is evil. Mario's brainwashed, and he's like...
Isn't this what we also want for Breath of the Wild too?
Yes. Dude, give them, like, I would love nothing more if we had both of those in 1 year next year, and it's like Peach and Zelda are both like playable and like central characters and everything, and just like do them both at the same time.
Yeah, I think that'd be a nice thing for both of them, especially since literally the story of both coming out in the same year is like, you gotta save the respective princess. And now that they're both saved, it's like, there's no reason for that to happen in sequels to these games.
No.
Peach has her own Cappy.
And it's just...
And Zelda's a literal god.
Yeah, exactly. It's freaking time. I mean, like, it's time to kill this trope, or at least break it up. Like, even if you're not going down the which it's a valid route, but even if you're not going down the route that it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks that like the female character is always just like a helpless damsel in distress. Like, that sucks. But even if you're not going down that route, it's just boring that it's the same shit every time. Regardless of what that shit is, it's just the same shit every time.
You don't necessarily expect Peach to be playable. Like, I love it, but I'm not expecting it. I will actually be legitimately disappointed if Zelda's not playable in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah. Even though, like, Peach would just be so fucking easy, though. She has her own Cappy. At least Zelda, you kind of have to think of a different moveset and stuff, probably. She can't just take up Link's abilities. Peach, you don't have to change anything. You can literally play these same. It's just so easy. I don't know. Like,
they even made outfits for her.
I know, it wouldn't even take effort. It's the thing. It would just be so easy. I don't know. Well, Jeff, that was a lot of fun. There was no structure to it whatsoever, but we just rambled on about Mario for 20 minutes, and we got an hour 20 on the podcast. That was pretty good. I think that was a good episode.
Yep. Well, I think too.
I know. God, I want Odyssey 2 harder right now than I want Breath of the Wild 2 in a weird way. Like, even though I like Breath of the Wild more, but I am a little more nervous about Breath of the Wild as a sequel than I am Odyssey.
Thinking about it, you see more potential in Odyssey sequel.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I understand it.
Yeah, because I think Breath of the Wild has a very big. I have a fear that Breath of the Wild, like, it's in a rough spot where I feel like it's going to be criticized for either being too similar to Breath of the Wild or too different from it. Whereas I feel like Odyssey, everyone expect, like, it's going to be different because nothing in Odyssey is the same. Like every world is like and now we're going here and now we're going here. It's like it's set up perfectly for like, yep, just more worlds. Let's just go. Whereas like Breath of the Wild, I'm like, I don't envy them. Like it's not an easy situation they find themselves in trying to make a sequel to that game because it's, you know what I mean. Like I have faith that they'll I think they can do it, but it's a harder task.
I'm curious. So the game's taking longer than we initially thought it would be. Like, you know, they're still making it. It's like, okay, this might just be crazy. Like, a fear was, are they just going to use the same Hyrule map with very little change? Like, they're taking a pretty long time with it. So
more breath.
Yeah.
He got big old lungs.
They live less wild. I feel like I feel you. So what he's saying is more dungeons. That's wild. More breathing in dungeons.
But I do hate that. Like, this is why I'm like, no one's gonna be happy no matter what they do with Zelda. It's like, but like, I kind of think that it's a little boring that everyone, when people are like, what do you want for Breath of the Wild 2? Everyone always just says they want the same shit that's always been in Zelda. Like, I want traditional dungeons. And it was like, I want you to, like, Breath of the Wild was great, but I want you to take out everything that made Breath of the Wild unique and cool and add in all the stuff that's been in every Zelda forever. It's like, I want you to take out weapon durability. I want you to take out, like, the shrines and put in traditional dungeons. I'm like, how about we, like, spread our wings a little, you know?
I just want to play this.
That too, yeah. I hope, like I was telling you, I want the net whenever they really introduce, like we're doing like the real Breath of the Wild trailers, I want it to be a little controversial. I want there to be like some mechanic in there, like kind of similar to like a Majora's Mask, where it's like, I want Breath of the Wild 2 to be something that like we all discuss. And it's like, some people don't like it, some people do, but it tried something. Like it went and like, because Breath of the Wild is so damn good on its own. Like you could just leave it alone, go to a new Zelda series, and it would be like, that's not missing a damn thing. Yeah. So with doing a sequel, I want them to like it to feel like, all right, this was an experiment. This like went a weird direction. So, you know, it's like
the thing that makes me hopeful for that, doing something weird and very different from Breath of the Wild, is the fact you look at all the mainline Zeldas and they are completely different. Like even the Majora's Mask is kind of a sequel-esque type thing to Ocarina of Time in a weird way. Yeah. Like, it's completely different. It's the weirdest thing.
Yes.
I think this might be a little more feels sequel-esque compared to some of the other ones, maybe a little bit. But I feel like with the Zelda team, you know, a big reason they probably did it was the sales of Breath of the Wild, but I feel like they wouldn't have decided on the sequel right away if they didn't immediately have an idea to make it different.
I agree.
They wanted to pursue, because why would they change that now after 30 years of Zelda games being completely different from each other, from the last one?
I think if they were going to do the like almost the Ubisoft, like we gotta get a sequel out because it made money and it's big or whatever, then we would have gotten the Twilight Princess too. It's like that kind of thing.
Mario and Zelda talking about it interesting. There are subs that people you know, consider the best up there, or it's like general range where people consider games, but a lot of people not always the same because the games are so different. So people are going to have different opinions on it, but generally agree they're good.
Right. Yeah. And that's just, I'm just hoping. I like, in some ways, I feel like the worst thing it could be is just like Breath of the Wild again. Yeah. I mean, I would enjoy it, but I think that its legacy will be the worst if it's just, you know, Breath of the Wild, same map, little bit of difference. Package ship it, you know. I think it needs to like have
again, the fact that it's taking this long makes me pretty hopeful that that's not the case.
Yeah, I agree. Mario and Zelda, man.
We're into the podcast on the
Very good Zelda discussion. Very good time. All right.
Crazy.
Loose, fast, and loose. Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure you check out the Anime Gauntlet that's going to be starting very soon. Check out our It Takes Two streams. Subscribe on twitch.tv/nerds@large game and all that good stuff. And we'll be back next week. Yeah. Imagine wanting something different. No, you accept the same product over and over again, and you pay full price and you like it. Damn it. All right.